just to reiterate, to do with the Illuminati and their superior knowledge. Well, like God kind of equates their knowledge to a pizza leaflet, really, because like they've pinched their way all the way through. So these are sorcerers. That's about as smart as they get. I think they even stole that knowledge. I'm not quite sure, but their only way is to hold people down and get them to do their labour. Like the way they go on about like the Goyim and stuff. They're just good at organising and like overtaking and like just threatening and torturing people. But they've stole their way through thousands of years. Like to get where they are. So they're not superior in knowledge. They've just got a base of hostages that they torture, like to do their bidding. This is what I've noticed, like I find, like with a lot of like people who like upper classes tend to sell their souls easily. They've got traits of like, unlike the working class where they stick with each other through thick and thin and stuff. Whereas like, like they're very sort of, like they like the glitter and then they chase it and then like they forget it. And like I think that's what makes them, not quite so drawn to God, which is the problem with what we've got now. Like they've sold themselves easily, like to get rich, get even richer quicker, and that's how they've got pinned down with these sorcerers. Like where if they depend on God only, they would have overthrown these people. Like what we're saying in the last video, if there's legs on that Tartarian buildings, like that they've stole from with the Freemasonry. We've actually gone backwards in civilization. If that's true, like they probably got technologies that we don't. That Tesla was probably scraping to find out about again. It's like probably some itching in his bloodline that like his ancestors, have gone through this period of time. I get like flashbacks as well. Like I'm being crushed in V2K, and the more they crush me, the more I get flashbacks in my bloodline. All I can see is this kind of mortar. I don't know if it's black, black sort of glossy. I bought a purse from River Islands not long ago, and it kind of had conjured that feeling of this black glossiness, and like I get it off sewing machines, like Singer sewing machines. It's okay, I've got I think Madonna's like crashing down my teeth, trying to make me look a prat. In V2K, she's one of the hostage manipulators, and she takes a lot of money from victims, and like she's stopping me from breathing now. What was I going to say? About this black purse. Like it just gives me imagery of something in my past, an industrial past, and like a lot of the Tesla pictures kind of like spark me off. Like that feeling of that time. So I know it's somewhere in my bloodline that as well. I've got a connection probably to that past. Got a connection to quite a lot of past, I think. Anyway, that's what I think. Like we've probably gone massively backwards in civilization because of these, leaflet partakers. Like thin-minded people who that are very lazy. I'm not saying that the upper classes are completely lazy, because like English heritage, like we've got a lot of eccentric geniuses. That should be celebrated. But I'm saying that you look at some of these secular Jews, and they're balmy, they're off their heads. And these have got the money to the world. These elites, I'm not talking about the Orthodox, but I'm talking about, the ones that have got more money to their name, which will bear witness as against them, as God says in the Bible. Like these people, aren't that bright. They're more about the money rather than the actual morality and the development of like humankind. They just don't give a toss about humankind, and that's going to come to fruition, and we'll see it one day.